My name is Frank Lucas. I am the youth pastor and creative arts director here at Community Covenant Church, a non-denominational Christian church out in Rehoboth, Massachusetts. I've been on staff here at the church for about over 5 years now, 5.5 years, and I've been attending the church with my wife Katie and our kids for a little over 10 years now, and it's been a huge, huge blessing in our lives. The area that I'm most passionate about is really just seeing lives changed by Christ, in particular students. I just have a huge passion for engaging and connecting with middle school students and high school students and coming alongside of them and watching them grow up and discover what it looks like to live the life that Christ intended for them to live. It's just something that I've been passionate about for years and years and years now, and really what gives me the fuel that I need to keep going amidst the busy seasons, amidst the tough days, the challenging days. It's what really kind of fuels me and keeps me going and encouraged. I got into youth ministry for a lot of reasons. It started with a simple ask. You know, a friend of mine who was doing youth here asked me, "Frank, would you be interested in serving with the youth?" And I said yes. But as I think back about it and where my passion stems from, started when I was a little boy. I was 13 years old. I woke up on a Tuesday morning in February 24th to be exact, in 1998, and my life was flipped upside down. I went downstairs to get ready for school, and my dad had passed away. And in that moment, I didn't realize the implications of it. I didn't understand really what was going on or anything like that. But I remember how devastated I was and how hard it was growing up from that point forward without a father. I had no one to teach me how to shave. I had no one to come and hang out at my basketball games or my baseball games or to talk to about girls with or anything like that. I wanted someone to talk to. I didn't know that, but I had this deep desire deep within me to connect with somebody. In particular, my father, but I didn't have that. And these guys saw that, and they saw a need, and they didn't ask to step into my life. They just did. And I'll never forget the impact that they had on me. And as I got older and I became a man and ventured into adulthood and started figuring things out more and more, I realized the impact that they had on me. And at that moment, I knew that I wanted to be able to do that for someone else. I wanted to use some of the greatest, most difficult moments in my life and to be able to share that with others. And I thought, what better way to do that than with students, and to do that with students throughout the local church. And there was this one time I was on a youth retreat, and this was, a while back now. We were up at Jaffrey, New Hampshire at Monadnock Bible Conference Center. It was a Saturday night service, and the emotions are running high. The band is awesome. The speaker is just doing unbelievable things and sharing great stories, and everyone's really excited about what's going on. And there was this one boy that I didn't really know that well. It was my first time going on the retreat with the students at the church. But there was this one boy who, at the end of the night, everyone was in the room, in the chapel. They were doing worship. And I remember him tapping me on the shoulder, and he was crying. So we ducked out the side door, and I had no idea what I was gonna say. I had no idea what I was gonna do. And we ended up going outside, and it was the middle of February. It was like 5 degrees out. We're in shorts and a t-shirt and flip-flops, and we're freezing cold. But there he is, and he's just bawling his eyes out in front of me. And I have no idea what's wrong. I don't know any backstory. I really don't know him that well. And I said, "What's going on? Like, what's bothering you?" He says, "My dad's dying." And my heart sank, because he didn't know anything about me. He didn't know my story. And I just wrapped my arms around him and gave him a hug. And I remember him sinking into my shoulder. And I wrapped my arms around him, and I said, "It's gonna be okay." And I I know what you're going through. I know how you're feeling. And I remember in that moment, he pulled away and he actually physically pushed me away. And he said, no, you don't. And I looked at him and I said, yeah, I do. I was like, when I was 13 years old, my dad died. And he just looked at me and said, he did, inquisitively. And I explained to him, yeah. And I was like, and it was the hardest thing I've ever had to go through. And on the outside, I pretended like I had it all figured out, but really I didn't. And I needed people to help me navigate that. And I needed people to help me understand how to make sense of all these things in my life. So that's why I'm here. And it was in those moments, particularly that night in Jaffrey, New Hampshire, outside the chapel in the middle of February, in shorts and a t-shirt, that I recognized that there was purpose to my pain, that there was something more for me to do, that I didn't need to be a victim, but rather I could go out and I could share hope through the trials that I've been through. And that's where I think my passion for youth has really come from. I think my passion for leaning in and caring for students has really come from. But it's ultimately at the end of the day that I acknowledge that it's not up to me, that it's up to God. And I trust that, and I believe that wholeheartedly, that I'm here just to love them the way that Christ loved me, and to show them the hope that Christ has given me in some of my deepest and darkest moments.